Well, welcome everybody to this, day one of the Royal Commission into why so many Australian male athletes appear to be total douchebags, and why this country continues to largely ignore the achievements of our female superstars. We start, of course, with the news of Ash Barty's recent elevation to world number one in women's tennis. Now, I have to admit that as a fan of men's tennis, I am completely unaccustomed to watching an Australian tennis player A, succeed, and B, succeed without throwing a chair at the crowd. I'm referring, of course, to Mr. Nick Kyrgios, a tantrum wrapped in a dummy spit, wrapped in a douchebag. And let's not forget his good mate Bernard Tomic, the other douchebag terrible of Australian tennis. Frankly, before Ms. Barty's heroics at the French Open, I genuinely thought tanking in the first round, abusing a non-English speaking umpire, smashing a few rackets, and losing your licence for speeding in your Ferrari on the Gold Coast was a good game of tennis. But turns out it's possible to just, win the tournament. In fact, if Ms. Barty's recent performance is anything to go by, perhaps more of our male athletes should indeed play like a girl. Furthermore, while many in this country are celebrating the return of self-confessed cricket cheats Steve Smith and David Warner, this commission would like to remind everyone of Sally Fitzgibbon, who just this week won a major surfing championship in Brazil. And she didn't even tamper with the wave to do it. Turns out she's just very good at surfing. And yet she's sadly still not a household name in this country. So in the interest of raising her profile, may I suggest Sally puts a bet on her own sporting event, or she could always go full tilt and do a rugby league special by urinating into her own mouth, or doing a hopoate by sticking her finger up the bum of a fellow surfer. Well, don't look shocked at me. These things actually happened. On the topic of general male athlete douchebaggery, this commission cannot pass without commenting on Israel Folau, who, after saying homosexuals were destined for hell unless they repented for their sins, was fired for committing a cardinal sin of his own, namely, not reading his rugby contract carefully enough. Indeed, it is the opinion of this commission that Mr. Folau has approached both the Bible and his rugby contract with the same cavalier attitude, by skim-reading them, removing the context, and picking out his favourite bits. Sadly, this behaviour was just the tip of the doucheberg, as Mr. Folau has since taken to a platform normally reserved for raising money for sick and dying children to try and raise money for his sick and dying football career. After all, as Jesus himself said, "Blessed are the multi-millionaire rugby players, for they shall inherit the Australian Christian Lobby's website to raise funds to fight their self-inflicted unfair dismissal cases." Consequently, it is the recommendation of this commission that Australia starts its own GoFundMe campaign in order to raise enough money to pay female athletes the same amount as men, improve their subpar training facilities, and allow them to commit to their sporting careers wholeheartedly without having to resort to a part-time job. And if you disagree, I quote the Matildas captain Sam Kerr when I say, suck on that one. All rise.